How do what?
Hello, Heather. Hi, Heather. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear. Yes, I got it.
Oh, fantastic. Fantastic. Okay. So are you here for the information question and answer session about the photobiomodulation patches?
Yes, I am.
Okay, fantastic. Well, let's get started here. And
Okay. Thank you.
You're quite welcome. Okay, so let me share my screen with you.
Okay. And where are you?
I'm in Southern California in Huntington Beach.
Oh,
Newport.
wow.
Yeah, how about yourself?
I'm in Pittsfield, Massachusetts today.
In Massachusetts.
I,
Oh,
yeah,
fantastic.
I live in Alaska, but I spend a lot of time out here in Massachusetts with my mom. So, yeah.
Wow. Wow. So in Alaska, so cold areas of the country.
Yes. Yeah, unlike Huntington Beach.
Yes, I know it's been around 80, 84 degrees during the day, and then it drops to the low 60s, sometimes the high 50s at night. So
Wow.
can't complain.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to share my screen here with you, and let's go over these photobiomodulation patches. It's loading. Fantastic. All right, so we're going to get started here.
Okay.
Okay, so let's talk about these photobiomodulation patches, which are activating your pluripotent cells, and they activate peptides and proteins in your body to effectuate regeneration at a cellular level. So we're going to be talking about the Fantastic Five. And before we get started, I just want to give our disclaimer so we cross our T's and dot our I's. The patches are not intended to treat, prevent, or cure any disease because we do not heal, cure, treat, or diagnose, nor do we offer any protocols. The suggestions do not replace the diagnosis and treatment by a qualified licensed healthcare professional. We strongly recommend you consult with your doctor concerning your specific health challenge and treatment needed. So there are no medical claims that are being made with the suggestions here. Okay. And that said, these patches are based on the work of Laurent Picard from 1973, when he discovered that GHKCU copper peptide actually activated a third of previously dormant stem cells, turning genes to a younger, healthier state. In fact, he won a Nobel Prize for this discovery. And in about 23 years ago, David Schmidt, the scientist who actually is the founder and the pioneer inventor of these patches, he was working under contract for the Department of Defense. And he had invented quite a few things for them already when they approached him and said, listen, David, we've got these Navy SEALs who are in these submarines for 90 days at a time in this pressurized capsule. where they don't see any sunlight or get any fresh air. They're bombarded with blue light toxicity from the LED lights, from all the the electrical components and the lighting inside that capsule. And they get a lot of blue light toxicity, increased insulin resistance, inflammation. And right now we give them amphetamines, uppers, and energy drinks, which work really well. But when that fades, when that wears out, then of course they crash, and it's very hard on their bodies. Is there any way you could invent something that's organic and holistic to enhance their energy? So David, being a man of prayer and meditation, he's been inventing things since he was a child, went into a deep prayer and meditation. And in that meditation, he got this divine download where he had all this information on how to create these patches that never existed before. And he ran to his lab and he started testing it. And then he came up with the first patch, which is actually called the Energy Enhancer Patch. And one of the benefits of that particular patch is that it boosts and it increases, enhances your energy. It regulates your lymphatic system, and it also helps your heart rate variability. So fast forward to 4 years ago, then we had, now we have access to these patches ourselves. Companies in the 20, it's our 19th year right now that's in existence. And 4 years ago, we got access to the mother stem cell activation patch. So let's talk about what stem cells are. And stem cells are pluripotent cells. These are cells that have the ability to create any kind of cell that you need in your body, head to toe. And a pluripotent cell is something that is available at the time that your mother's ovum and your father's sperm come into contact. Now, before we get into that, I want to explain what a pluripotent cell is, because pluri comes from the word plural. Potent is potential. So plural, in other words, many potentials. So a pluripotent cell, a stem cell, can create a cardiac cell, an enterocyte cell, a fat cell, red blood cell, a skin cell, epithelial cell, a nerve, any kind of cell that your body needs, okay? Now, when your mother's ovum united with your father's sperm at conception, you had 23,688 genes. And now you had complete information to the tune of 23,688 stem cells that immediately began to form you in your mother's womb at conception. Fast forward 6 to 8 weeks later, that little embryo, you can witness the heartbeat through an ultrasound or through a Doppler sonar. And if you fast forward to 36 to 40 weeks later, then you have a fully formed fetus that grows, becomes a newborn baby. You fast forward the videotape of a person's life, and by the time you're 30 years old, 50% of your original stem cells actually turn off. And if you get to the age of 60, which many of us do get to the age of 60, I'm not 60 yet, but eventually I'll get there. But by the time you get to 60 years of age, believe it or not, now 90% of your stem cells turn off, and you only have 10% left of your original stem cells that will carry you through for the remainder of your life to repair, to restore, to regenerate, whatever it is that's going on in your body. So let's talk about the human body, because our body is the equivalent to a home. As you know, our bodies are the temporary housing units to basically house the energy, the personality, the soul, if you will, that is known as you. And when we look at stem cells are like printer ink cartridges. When you have a brand new ink cartridges in your printers and you go to make copies, your colored copy and your black and white copy are indistinguishable from the original when you have 100% of the ink. Same thing when you have 100% of your stem cells. When your stem cells go to make a brand new cell, a new skin cell, eye cell, eyelash cell, fingernail cell, hair cell, you can't tell the difference, the original from the copy. But once you've used up 80, 90% of this ink, now you have 10% of that ink left. Now that color or that black and white copy is a faded version of the original. Same thing is true with your stem cells. When you only have 10% left, those copies of those cells are not a crisp, clean copy the way they used to be when you were younger. Oh, it looks like I've got somebody else is trying to get in. Okay. So now let's talk about how do the patches work. So the patches, first of all, the thing to
Okay,
know
we'll
is
talk then later.
the thing to know is that your body is infrared light. You know, we by the naked eye, we can't tell that. This spectrograph here, where we actually scan somebody's hand, I actually have a BioWell machine where we scan the hand and we can actually see the joules of energy and how much electricity and infrared light is actually in you. And so this spectrograph is actually evidencing the infrared light that is inside your body. This infrared light, we evidence it also every time we take our temperature. When you have a 98.7 degree temperature, that's evidence of that infrared light, which is the accumulation of electrons, which are in our cells, and then the electrolytes, which are actually in our blood. And our electrolytes and electrons, these have packets of information and nutrients to basically benefit our body. So if you look at a diamond crystal, when you shine a light on a diamond crystal, you will notice that as you shine that flashlight on a diamond crystal, that the light reflects back from the original source back to your eyes so that you see all the different colors of the prism, and the light color spectrum reflects back to you, right? Well, the same thing is true with these stem cell activation patches. Once you put this device, this is simply an FDA compliant class 1 medical device that is a mechanical structure to reflect back the infrared light that you have in your body. So that infrared light, like if I were to look at you with night vision goggles, I would see that by observing you with night vision goggles, I would see you glowing in the dark. And that's how the military and that's how the police department, they see people in the dark because they use the night vision goggles. They're able to see that infrared light that glows outside of your body. It's not just contained within. It's good to note also that with regards to phototherapy, it has been identified as the use of ultraviolet light for the healing effects, and the LifeWave patches have been specifically developed to reflect light in the infrared and visible light bands back onto the skin where the patch has been placed. So supported by normal electrodermal skin conductance, the human body gives off a number of materials biochemically, including particulate release, gas emission, ultraviolet, infrared, near infrared, and visible spectrum light. So this then stimulates the area of the skin, producing improved physiological effects. So variations on phototherapy have been used for at least 100 years. And in that time, there's been little evidence of negative side effects. So this suggests that this is a relatively untapped option for healing with relatively few risks. So I want you to notice that these are non-transdermal. Non-transdermal means that it does not transfer into the dermis, which is the skin. They're non-invasive. They're organic, holistic, FDA compliant, class 1 medical devices under the general wellness category. We manufacture our products at FDA registered facilities in the United States, and our facility in Ireland is registered with the Irish Medicine Board. Facility in the United States is actually in San Diego. We manufacture our products to the same standards as a medical device, and in fact, our facility in Ireland is ISO 9001 and ISO 13485 compliant. That's a quality standard. So it's important to be aware that there's been changes with the FDA over the last year, and the U.S. Food and Drug Administration has taken the position just recently that all claims surrounding stem cells and healing, even those from natural products like this, will be regarded as drug claims. So the FDA also asserts that claiming that the use of light to elevate peptides such as GHKCU copper peptide is inappropriate for a general wellness product, because this is under the classification of a general wellness product. So as a result, we can't say that, although clinical studies show that. We have over 90 clinical studies that actually show that our patches actually activate the stem cells through the elevation of the P63 protein, and GHKCU actually turns right on based on the work of Lauren Picard from 1973, but we're not allowed to say that any longer. So I just want you to become aware of that, because we have limitations as to what we can express with you. And we have a preponderance of evidence of people who have been on the patches, separate from the 90 clinical studies that were done in the United States, as well as Europe and Asia. And they're clinical studies, they're double-blind with placebo, double-blind controlled studies done throughout the world. And we are currently in 81 countries. So can you imagine all the hoops that we had to jump through to become approved and be accepted through all those different governments? So currently we're standing at 81 countries where we're available. And by the beginning of the first quarter of 2024, we'll be available in our 82nd country. So it's important to note that whether you decide to do these patches or not, it's really important that you drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water, especially if you're going to be on the patches, because your body is primarily made up of water. A baby is about 82% water. Someone who's about in their 60s is going to be about 55% water. It's important to note that your DNA is actually 92% water. The primary structure that holds up your DNA, it's water, 92% composition. Pretty incredible if you think about it. Now, when you're 2% dehydrated, then that means you will notice that you're parched and that you feel thirsty in your mouth. When you're 8% dehydrated, your DNA starts to unravel. Imagine that. So at 2%, you feel dry mouth, you feel parched. Your brain shrinks, your cells, your mitochondria shrink. But at 8% dehydration, your DNA starts to unravel. When your DNA starts to unravel, things start to go awry. Things start to malfunction in the body. You get to 10% dehydration, you lose your mind. And at 12% dehydration, full body shutdown, you die. You cannot exist. It's just a hard shutdown. So it's very important to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water from the time you get up in the morning until you go to sleep at night. Does that make sense? All right. So, oh, by the way, it's important to note that you're going to be wearing these patches 12 hours on and then 12 hours off. So as you are aware, we are in a diurnal state where we have daylight for 12 hours from sunrise to sunset. And then from sunset to sunrise, you have another 12 hours. So the earth is on the same 12 hours on, and then you have 12 hours of darkness, which is the rest, repair, restore cycle. So your body is going to be in cadence with that, because our bodies are naturally on this cycle of daytime and nighttime. So you're going to be signaling by this patch being on your body as it touches your skin and it's attached there. The moment it touches your skin, those crystals reflect back that infrared light back into your body to create this effect. And each patch has a different effect because each patch has the crystals that are in the patches. Those are organic sugar crystals, organic salt crystals, organic hydrogen, oxygen, water crystals, and a proprietary blend of organic amino acids. And then they're arranged in a very specific pattern, set to a very specific frequency to effectuate what the mother stem cell activation patch does versus the others, okay? So let me share with you, this is Dr. John Harmon, and Dr. John Harmon came to us about 2 years ago, and he was very dismayed because he had just been diagnosed with a right bundle branch blockage of the heart. And most people, when you look at their before and after pictures, most people, you go from looking like this, and then you end up looking like this over time. However, Dr. John, because your pluripotent cells, they don't care about vanity. They don't care about looks. They just care about replacing damaged cells. That's the job of a pluripotent cell, is to go in there. That's what a stem cell is a pluripotent cell. So it's there to regenerate and to replace any damaged cell and replace it with a brand new copy of the original. So as you can see with Dr. John, he started up, this is what he looked like when he began. He had gray hair. He had thinning eyebrows and his very little dark color to his eyebrows, a lot of inflammation in the eyes, and of course, fine lines and wrinkles, the chin, cheeks, his forehead. I could have played tic-tac-toe on it because he's got lines going vertically as well as horizontally. And here you have him not quite 2 years later. This is actually 14 months later. 14 months later, his original hair color came back. He still has gray a little bit on the sides. The color, even in his eyebrows, got filled in. The inflammation from his eyes went away, and the wrinkles lessened substantially, where he has a much more youthful look to himself now. But more importantly, what's exciting about this is at the 14th month mark, Dr. John had 3 cardiologists who had been monitoring him, who had originally diagnosed him. All 3 of them had told him, we can't do surgery on you. You're inoperable. And all we can do is put you on meds for life. And your lifespan is going to be shortened because you have a compromised cardiovascular system and a compromised heart, which is also known as your pump, right? So 14 months later, however, much to his surprise and much to his delight, although he knew that in time that this regenerative process would be complete. No one knows how long it would take, of course, but in his case, it took 14 months. And after 14 months of wearing the stem cell activation patches, all 3 cardiologists confirmed that the right bundle branch blockage disappeared. So lo and behold, not only did his right bundle branch blockage disappear, but he also had this rejuvenating, regenerative effect where he looks much younger than he did before he started on the patches. Does that make sense? Okay, we're going to have question and answers. Well, we'll do the Q&A towards the end of the presentation. Just wanted to let you know if you have any questions along the way, we'll go ahead and just save them for the end. Okay, it's also important to know, oh, by the way, that your fibroblasts begin to decline at 25 years of age in their production of collagen. So I want you to just think about that, because when you're 25 years old, that's not very old. Now, you have 100% of your pluripotent, your stem cells, when you're born. When you get to 30, 50% of them have turned off. If you recall, we shared that a little bit earlier. So just at 25, you're already starting to have your fibroblasts, which are very important in the production of collagen, which has to do with your skin and your tissue inside and outside of your body. That begins to start declining at 25 years of age. Pretty young if you think about it. So this is the first person, Barry, who I patched last summer, June 23rd. He had come to me. He lives in Toronto, Canada, and he was suffering from long haulers COVID, and this long haulers was kicking his butt. He would wake up every morning with terrible headaches, nausea, low stamina, fatigue, and he had horrible insomnia, really, really bad insomnia. Nothing he took would help him sleep. It was just really quite miserable. So we started him on the Fantastic 5 patches. And then we started him, actually, he got them in the afternoon because they were shipped to him. And then that same evening, we started him on the patches. The very next day, I get this text message and it says, "Hey, Lillian, just a note. Don't know if it's a placebo or if these patches work that quick or what, but I had really good sleep, a little better sleep than other nights. I fell asleep quicker. Today, I am just on a high. I'm ecstatic. And Gwen sees that in me, and I feel really, really good physically when I awoke this morning. No headache, no nausea. Yeah, it's just been a phenomenal day. So thank you, and I'll update you as we go along. Hope all is well. Bye." That was my friend Barry. Here's my other friend, Kathy. She lives in Nevada. She lives in Las Vegas, and she got on the patches because she was suffering for 33 years from autoimmune disorder from breast implants. And so when we first started her on the patches, it was recommended that she take a picture before she started on the patches, and then every 30 days thereafter. And at the time, there's no way you could get her to take her profile picture, her face. She only would take pictures of her neck and of her chest. So a year ago, January 2022, you'll see the wrinkles that she has on her chest and neck. And in March, you see how much less those are. And in June, the wrinkles are gone. You just have a little bit of evidence of some of the lines that were there before. And by July, in her 7th month, no fine lines and wrinkles. They're all gone. And her husband actually was the first one to notice around her torso and her arms. He said, "Hey, hon, look at your torso, look at your arms. You don't have that crepey skin anymore." So needless to say, this was very, very exciting because Kathy, not only did she get relief from having her cells regenerate her body and relieve her from this previously very burdensome autoimmune disorder that plagued her for 33 years. Now, she was 63 years old when she started this in January of 2022. So she's actually 64 years old now. And in October, when she shared this with us on Facebook, I remember seeing that, and I, of course, I had friends who forwarded it to other friends, and I said, oh my gosh, I go, you need to send your profile picture so people see what you look like now, because you're beautiful, you look fantastic. And of course, she would still have nothing to do with it. So I said, at least come on, let's, we were talking, her and I, on Zoom. I said, let's do a Zoom just like this, but we'll share it with everybody on my YouTube channel. And she said, that I'll do. So I go, if you're on the YouTube channel doing a Zoom, there's no way for me to alter your face or do anything. But people who are seeing my Facebook post, they're going to say, oh, my friends know that this is not bogus, but they're going to share it with a friend who's going to share it with another friend. And that second and third generation, they're going to go, oh, that was Photoshop, that's bogus. And so with that, she said, okay, I'm willing to do the video. And she did the video, so you can find it at damelillianwalker.com. That's my URL that points to my YouTube channel. And after we did that, she saw the video and she said, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to give you my profile shot, which I was very excited. And that's why I'm able to show you her picture. She's gorgeous, I think everybody would agree. She's so beautiful. It's hard to believe that she was refusing to take her picture, and she's just gorgeous, right? So that's another wonderful result from wearing the patches. And she continues to wear the patches at this time. Here's my own story. So you can see my before and after. So this last July, I started to have all these podcasts were asking me to come give, share my story and these YouTube channels and Instagram and so forth. So they asked me for my before and after pictures. So I wore the same shirt, about the same lighting, and I took my before and after picture. And you can clearly see that my hair is definitely much more dry and brittle here. I had lost about 50% of my hair after I was hit by a bus in 2017. And I suffered a traumatic brain injury, neck injury, and back injury after just being hit after I was just 3 blocks shy of finishing my 16-mile bike ride. And that began a very painful process of recovery, of trying to repair all the damage that had been done to my body, where I'm not going to go through all these symptoms, but I had all these things that were wrong with me because of that trauma that I experienced. And you can see here in the pictures that my hair, at 4 months after I was on the patches, my hair became softer, silkier, smoother. And I noticed that I had about 3.5 to 4 inches of hair growth because the point of impact was behind my head. So I had a bald spot the size of my palm, the back lower left of my head. So I could not wear ponytails for over 5 years. So at that 4-month mark, though, I had about 3 to 4 inches of hair growth, which was very exciting. And then when I went to the hairdresser, my hairdresser said, yeah, you have about 70% hair growth back there. You only have a little spot at the top of there that's maybe a little bit smaller than a quarter that is still, bald, but the rest is, in fact, you've got baby hairs growing all over your head, not just back there. And I had all these baby hairs like starting to grow around my hairline in the front, which was pretty cool as well. Anywho, the other thing to notice is that I wasn't aware. I was so focused on, repairing these other things and taking care of my people in my practice and my patients that I was not aware until I put these pictures together this last July. I was not aware that I had crow's feet, that I had these wrinkles on the side of my eyes, and that I had hooded eyes. You can see how I have a hooded eye on both the left and right eye, but here you can clearly see, and you can also see it here from this live video, that this has shrunk. This part in the eye is no longer hooded, and it's actually shrunk. It's basically been regenerated and rejuvenated. And I still have a little bit on my left eye, but my right eye is definitely better. And it's actually I just looked the other day and I'm like, okay, now they're more even where neither of my eyes are hooded any longer. So let's talk about the mother stem cell activation patch. Let me check my time to be good here. So we're at the half-hour mark. So the first patch that we're going to talk about, we talked about how your body is like a home. So we're basically going to start with the mother stem cell activation patch. That's the X39. That's going to build the foundation to your home. And this resets a third of your genes to a younger, healthier state. It regenerates your cells, replacing the damaged cells with new cells, restoring collagen. Collagen is the building block protein of the body, and it's going to rebuild scar tissue. So wherever you have scar tissue, it's going to replace it with the original tissue, therefore getting rid of your scars. In fact, that was another thing. At that 4-month mark, I had a drastic reduction in my scar. The bone, because I had a laceration from my ankle to my knee, right along my shin bone. And when that had healed, it took over a year for that to heal. When that healed, the bone was kind of wiggly, and the scar, I had a raised scar, and it was purplish, and it was very unsightly and kind of long. Well, at the 4-month mark, it had, first of all, the bone filled in, which is really exciting. So I no longer had that uneven surface, but the scar right away went flat, and it went from purple to a very light brown to, it's a very, very faint tan. And it's probably, the maximum is 3 inches in terms of length, but the middle part is already, that tissue has already been replaced. So it's not a full tan line any longer. It's still not 100%, but I know that it's just a matter of time before that's 100% taken care of. So it rebuilds scar tissue, reduces fine lines and wrinkles. It increases energy, sexual libido, antioxidants, anti-aging, anti-inflammation. In our clinical studies, and we see this all the time when we patch people who are in pain, they experience within 3 to 4 minutes a 50 to 100% pain reduction. That's pretty significant. If you're at a pain level of 8 or 9 and your pain level drops down to a 3 or 4, that makes all the difference in the world. We also see improved hair growth, like you saw with Dr. Harmon, as you saw with myself, and deeper, sounder, improved sleep. So that's the mother stem cell activation patch. In our clinical studies, first of all, before I get into the clinical studies, we do have a Veritas Consilium, which is a true plan of action using traditional Chinese medicine acupuncture points to actually magnify the effects of the patches on the body. So in the clinical studies, all 90 clinical studies, people wore the patches either on their neck bump, which is governing vessel 14, or below the belly button, 3 finger widths below, which is conception vessel 6. So that's like the default positioning for everyone. However, depending on what your symptoms are, again, these are general wellness products. We don't treat any particular diagnoses, but if you have pain anywhere in the body, for example, I like to address that first, so we take down your pain levels immediately. So I tell people, point to where you feel the pain and let's patch it. So we would take the Fantastic 5 patches and then either put them in a line or in a circle, encircling the area of pain to knock the pain down. We do have a patch, by the way, that is specifically just for pain, which is called the Ice Wave patch. And that patch is the only patch we have that doesn't repair anything. That patch simply turns off pain receptors, super effective for pain reduction and pain relief. People who have migraines, fractures, and so forth, just a fantastic pain management patch. So now we're going to talk about, we talked about the mother stem cell activation patch. That's our foundation. We're going to talk about the daughter stem cell activation patch, and that's going to be like the bearing wall to your house. And the good thing to know about this does something totally different than the mother stem cell activation patch. This one protects you against radiation poisoning relief. It increases your lean muscle mass, increases bone density, muscle mass, and strength, increases energy, focus, and your cardiovascular function, protects you against electromagnetic frequencies from 5G, Bluetooth, Wi-Fi radiation, TSA scanners, blue light toxicity from LED lights from your home, your work, your car, your train, your plane, whatever the source, x-rays that you might get at your doctor's office or your dentist's office or your work environment. This also reduces belly fat because it will use your belly fat as an immediate source of energy instead of using glucose from whatever you just recently ate. And if you have osteoporosis, it will reduce osteoporosis because as it increases your bone density, the osteoporosis will disappear. So let's talk about the next three patches. We've got our foundation, mother stem cell, daughter patch. And then the next three patches are glutathione, carnosine, and eon. These are the master antioxidants of the body. Again, this completes taking care of the primary systems of the body. Oh, by the way, remember to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water from the time you get up until you go to sleep. So if you're 100 pounds, you're going to drink 50 ounces of water. If you're 150 pounds, you're going to drink 75 ounces of water. So whatever your weight is, divide it by 2, and that's the number of ounces you need to drink from the time you wake up until you go to sleep. Okay, the next patch is the glutathione patch. Incredible patch, because this master antioxidant is what's responsible for detoxifying your entire body and for boosting your immune system. When you apply this patch, let's say you started this morning at 9 a.m. wearing this patch and you wear it till 9 p.m. tonight. You remove it tonight, and now you're matching 12 hours of rest, repair, and restore. By tomorrow morning, your glutathione levels will be up anywhere from 300 to as high as 600%, all based on the original blueprint that you were conceived with, not even born with, because things happen from conception until the time you were born. Sometimes your mother and you were exposed to something right before your birth, while you were being formed in the mother's womb, as you were being born, or right after you were born. This is setting it to your original playbook. It's one of the few times in life you get an original and legitimate do-over. So it's going to, if your original blueprint, based on where you are now, and if it says that you should be up 555%, then your glutathione levels will go up to 555%. It won't be too much because it's your original, it's more of you turned on. So won't be under, it won't be over, it'll be just right because it's your original playbook that's reactivating more of you to put this into effect. You're going to have an increase in antivirals, so you're going to have more immune protection. Glutathione is a natural radioprotector against DNA damage, and it will improve your skin appearance and help promote relaxation and reduce stress. This is a quote from the glutathione research paper called Nanoscale Glutathione Patches Improve Organ Function. And I thought this was fascinating, so I want to share this with you. So it says here, glutathione patches worn 12 hours daily over a period of 4 weeks produce a highly significant improvement in physiological functional status of, pay attention to the organs that it talks about, because if you have an organ that has issues, this is good to note. Status of pancreas, liver, gallbladder, intestines, left and right adrenals, hypothalamus, pituitary gland, and a very significant improvement in the pancreas with a statistical power of at least 72%. So stated differently, all organs achieve significant cellular, physiologic, functional status improvement compared to a baseline with a statistical power of at least 91%. That's huge. 91% improvement over base. Holy cow, that's pretty impressive if you ask me. Wouldn't you agree? Okay, carnosine, the next patch. Carnosine. This master antioxidant supports and improves your cardiovascular system and all things related to heart and muscle. It improves your healthy brain function, memory, focus, and brain processing time. I want to hit the pause button here because you may not be aware that your heart and your brain are very linked together. If you have a good pump, a good heart, and you don't have any backup stoppage occlusions inside your arterial walls with cholesterol, fats, lipids, calcium, etc., and the plumbing is good, and the flow is good, and the electrical side of your heart is also in good shape and order, then you're going to have great brain function, memory, focus, and brain processing time. But if you don't have a good pump and you have a compromise either to the electrical, or you have a compromise because you have an occlusion or partial or whatever, where the blood flow is not able to, you have cardiovascular compromise in any way, then that means that the blood flow with that oxygen-rich blood and electrolytes with all that information and all those nutrients can't get to the brain. So then you're going to have brain fog. You're going to have trouble recalling things. Your memory, your focus, your brain processing speed is not going to be up to par. Now, for myself, I will tell you that after the first 3 weeks of wearing the patches, in the 3rd to 4th week, I noticed a massive increase in my memory, my focus, and my brain processing speed. Now, the thing to note was that when I first had my accident, I had 0 short-term memory. And I was so caught up with repairing other, trying to offset my pain and to manage that, which was like walking on eggshells, that I was not even aware. And neither was my neurologist that I had no short-term memory. It wasn't until my 2nd year that we discovered that. My daughter, on the other hand, was very, very concerned because she thought perhaps I had early onset dementia or Alzheimer's, because things that happened 15 minutes before, I had 0 recollection of them. And now my brain processing speed, my memory, my focus is off the charts, where I pulled up just for fun what is pi, like 11 digits to the right, and also what is the golden mean ratio, 11 digits to the right. And I memorized those numbers just in one looking, writing it down on a 3x5 card, and then was able to recite it after just one view. And so my memory is like through the roof better. This particular patch will also increase your strength, your stamina, your endurance. It's going to detox your brain from aluminum. You're probably thinking well, I don't get that much aluminum toxicity, but hey, how often, like most of us were born here in the States and we've used toothpaste. All toothpaste makers up until 2014, toothpaste was put in an aluminum tube. So think about that. That toothpaste is absorbing aluminum, which we've known for 25 years or more, actually closer to 30 years now, that aluminum is a known neurotoxin, causes cognitive decline, it causes brain fog, it causes all sorts of havoc with the brain. And now you're taking this toothpaste that's been absorbing the aluminum from that aluminum tube. Now you're brushing your teeth with it, and it's being absorbed by your gums. It doesn't even have to go through your digestive system. So it's being absorbed by your gums directly into your brain, which is like right here in your head. Not to mention, think about all the juices, the sodas, the drinks, the waters, the beers that you've had over your lifetime in an aluminum can. Think about all the potatoes that you have wrapped in an aluminum foil, turkeys, chicken, ham, vegetables that you wrapped in aluminum foil. That food is absorbing trace amounts of that aluminum, and now you're eating it. And those are trace amounts of aluminum that continue to be fed into your body. But it gets better. Think about also how there are environmental places where there are places of work. If you work at a gun manufacturer, a car manufacturer, an awning manufacturer, you have those aluminum awning manufacturers. If you work at a Home Depot, a place where there's a lot of metal shavings and so forth, you're going to be absorbing that not only through inhalation, but you're going to also be absorbing that through the skin. So there's no shortage of places that we can have toxification by aluminum in the body. And so this patch is going to help you detox from that, which is really quite fantastic. This patch also, because it has to do with anything related to your heart and your healthy tissue, it's going to aid in wound restoration. So, and oh, by the way, this is another little reminder to drink 50% your weight in fluid ounces of water. Okay, the last of our 5 patches, we did glutathione, we did carnosine. The last one is going to be here, Eon. This is Eons of Good. These 3 patches are named after the name of the master antioxidants that they are increasing in your body. So the Eon patch, this master anti-inflammatory patch, is our anti-stress patch. We also call it the happy patch, because people after 3 or 4 weeks, especially on the 21st day, a lot of people notice they're very happy, and people around them oftentimes notice they're like, wow, your energy's up, but you seem really happy. And this particular patch raises something called anti-neoplastins, which I'll tell you what those are in just a minute. I got something here in my eye. This also increases the DHEA, fountain of youth hormone. It does brain balancing of the left and the right brain. Here, it's kind of hard to see, but you'll see that this patch is responsible. A lot of us have our brains out of balance before we start on the patches. Once you get on the patches, then brain balancing of the left and the right hemisphere will start to take place. And with each day that you wear the patch over the next 12 months, you start to get into homeostasis. And what happens is that you have an elevated feeling of energy and happiness. but you also have a calm effect because this patch is going to reduce the cortisol levels in your body and the C-reactive proteins, giving you a nice calming effect. Okay. So what are anti-neoplasms? These are peptides that are found in the urine and blood of healthy people, and the research is showing that they might stimulate your immune system and that these peptides might also kill certain cancer cells or prevent them from growing. So in a clinical setting, they're used for various cancers, high cholesterol, brain swelling, due to any kind of infection such as encephalitis, meningitis, HIV, AIDS, Parkinson's, and other conditions. So the thing to note is that this patch will, again, because it's activating your original playbook, you have 33% of your previously dormant regenerative, rejuvenating cells called stem cells. They're going to now open up that playbook, and now you have that injection of additional anti-neoplastins and all this benefit that will come to you. So, oh, by the way, are you guys aware that, did you know that blue light destroys DHEA? So the blue light that you're getting from the screen that you're watching this, whether it's a cell phone, a tablet, an iPad, a desktop, a laptop, or if it's blue light from the LED lights that you have in your home, or the LED lights that you have in your car, in a train, in a plane. Heck, look at your kitchen. Think of all the LED lights that you have in your kitchen, your refrigerator, your dishwasher, your cappuccino maker, your coffee maker, your hot water pot, your stove, your microwave, your food processor, if you have like your Ninja, those all have blue lights in them. And blue light causes blue light toxicity. LED lights give you blue light toxicity. That increases your insulin resistance and it increases inflammation. In your cell, you have something called mitochondria, and that causes mitochondrial dysregulation, which is the beginning of pretty much all inflammatory, especially chronic inflammatory conditions and diseases. So this is going to offset that because you're activating your original pluripotent cells. Okay, so let me go into, before we go into how much it costs, let me open this up so that you guys can ask whatever questions you might have. Does anybody here have any questions that they would like to ask? And if you'd like, just go ahead and unmute yourself. Any questions, Heather?
Yeah,
Hi.
I don't really have a question, but I just want to say that this has been really fascinating. I really love the way you presented this. I've been in this business for like 4 years, and and this is just an awesome presentation. And I loved hearing about the carnosine and the X49 and the Aeon especially. So thank you.
Thank you, Heather. I appreciate those really kind
Oh,
words. That compliment, it means a lot to me. So thank you
oh,
very.
you're welcome.
Do you care to share like some of the results that you've had from wearing the patches?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'd love to. So when I first started with X39, I was going through, and can you see me? Because I can't
I,
see myself.
I
Okay.
can see you, yes.
Okay, great. So when I first started with X39, I was just in a horrible place in my life, nasty custody battle, financial issues, legal issues, just tons of stress. And my friend tried to sign me up and I could barely afford $100, but I got together $300 and I bought the silver kit, and I just started to feel a little bit better, like a little bit less stressed, even though everything was still extremely stressful. It kind of like took the edge off.
Yeah.
And then the other thing, I was getting a little bit more sleep and waking up feeling a little more rested. I've also had ADHD, I think most of my life, and I just noticed I had a little bit of an easier time finding my keys or my purse or my wallet or getting ready in the morning. Like these everyday life things were just a little less challenging. So that felt good. And
Wow.
then, yeah, and then on a physical level, I'm a massage therapist. I graduated massage school in '98, stayed home with my kids for a couple of years, but pretty much I've been doing massage for over 20 years. And so my thumbs were starting to hurt, and I started to think like, oh, I'm gonna need a different career. I was taking college courses. I thought I might have to have some carpal tunnel surgery, but now my thumbs feel great. I can do like 6 or 7 massages a day. I don't feel
Wow.
sore. I get tired, but I don't feel soreness. I can do yoga poses I couldn't do before, and it's just like I have so much more mobility in my hands. So that's been really, really awesome. Yeah, and I mean, there's other things, but I don't, and I've noticed clients with getting better and friends. So, but I'll let other people talk too. So thank you.
So thank you for sharing. So the quality and the the quality of your life has gone through the roof. It's massively better. You're so much better physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Yeah, I am.
A
Yes.
lot of, to go from having trouble where you were looking at doing surgery for carpal tunnel to now being able to do 6 to 7, massages a day, that's heavy. That's, intense labor, that's a lot of work.
It is.
And
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so you've had a lot of fantastic effects. So real thank you so much for sharing.
Oh, you're
Effects.
welcome. Yeah,
So yeah,
absolutely.
that's wonderful. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Anybody else here have any other questions or comments that you have or specifics that you'd like me to address at this time? Okay, so it doesn't look like, I want to make sure you just have to unmute yourself if you have a question, then you can go ahead and ask, but it doesn't look like here, I don't see anybody raising their hand.
I have a question.
Yes, what's your question?
How soon would this is Ella Levette?
Elevate. How do you say
Ella
your name?
Lev,
Ella
4
Levette.
syllables. Ella Levette. Mhm.
Oh,
Ella Levette. Well, thank you, Ella Levette. What's your question?
Well, how soon would this be posted for replay? I want to share with my family.
I'm going to, as soon as, my intention was to live broadcast it to YouTube, but Zoom was acting kind of funny, so it wouldn't let me do it. So as soon as we're done here, I'm going to upload it. So you just go to damelillianwalker.com. That points you
Could you
to,
could you, I'm sorry, could you tell me that again, please?
sure, I'll put it here in the chat.
Okay.
damelillianwalker.com. That points to my YouTube channel, which is Love and Funny Secrets TV. So I put it there in the chat.
Okay.
So it'll take
Thank
about,
you.
yeah, it'll take probably about an hour for it to upload because it's about an hour-long video. And then
Okay.
you'll see it. If you subscribe, you'll see right away. But just go to
Okay.
damelillianwalker.com about an hour after this finishes.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for asking, Ella Lovette. Anyone else with a question that I might be able to answer for you guys? Okay, so number one, if you're interested in learning more, get back to the person who referred you to this video. Make sure you get back to them because they can answer any and all questions that you might have. If they specifically don't have all the answers, they definitely have someone on our team that can get back to you and answer. We have over 900 doctors and holistic care practitioners in our group, and there surely will be somebody accessible to them to answer your questions. Of course, if I referred you, then make sure you get back to me. But most importantly, always get back to the person who referred you to this video so that you can get your questions answered and they can get you started as quickly as possible. Popular question we have is how long does it get to take, to receive the patches once you get started? And provided that it's not Saturday or Sunday, because we only ship out Monday through Friday. Let's say if you start on a Monday, it'll be anywhere from 2 to 5 days for you to get your patches. Canada's taking a little bit longer. They take about 10 days. But in the United States, it usually takes about 2 to 5 days. Europe takes about a week. It takes about a week's time in Europe as well. Okay. Thank you, my friends and gems, for tuning in, tapping in, turning on. Make sure you share this with a friend. Brianna, it's good to see you. Alouetta, everyone, LG070. I don't know who you are, but I thank you for being here and sharing this hour with me. And I'm going to get started on uploading this to the YouTube channel. And as always, ciao for now, my friends and gems. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Thank you.